I think we're live. Okay, fantastic. GM everyone, and welcome to the episode 104 of Nansen Office Hours. This week we're joined by Journey, our product marketing manager, who will show us some of our latest features on Nansen 2 and some examples on how to make the most out of them. If at any point you have any questions for either me or Journey, send them in the chat and we'll do our best to answer them. But before all that, if you're new to Office Hours, every other Friday we dive into onchain on Nansen to discover new features, to share new features, discuss what's trending, find alpha, answer your questions, and so much more. We're going to be ramping up our video content in 2024, so make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on so that you don't miss out on any future content. Journey, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Jim, everyone. So happy to be here. Thank you, Edward, for inviting me. My name is Journey, and I'm the product marketing manager at Nansen. Previously, I was also one of the social media, interns at Nansen. Joined over 2 years ago. I think that was like at the beginning of the NFT season, and then I think Edward and I were just talking about NFTs with Pandora and everything. So super excited. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, Journey's very friendly. So a big appreciate for that. And NFTs, that's a sore subject for me, as we were talking about earlier. But we can definitely dive into Pandora later on. I know that one of our viewers is very keen that you're on today, Journey. They've been asking for you. So I'm glad you've got your fans waiting for you. And hopefully it'll be a really good episode for them today. So the first thing that I want to look into today and share is our smart money dashboard. So in the past few episodes, we've kind of touched on it recently. And kind of because it's a new feature, we've improved a bunch in this dashboard. I just kind of want to share something that I really like about it. Specifically, it's the DEX trade side of things. And what I like here is being able to see exactly what smart money is buying and selling recently. And what I also think is really underrated is the aspect of filters. And what I like here is that you can set minimum amounts so that you can kind of almost filter through interesting activity. And from there, you can find some interesting alpha. And while this loads, there's also this tokens traded section. I know, Journey, that you're a big fan of that, but we can dive into that in a bit. So if we go here on the smart money buy and sell, and then we sort by how many smart money addresses are involved in a token, we can have a look. And then I'll go through. And we can see some interesting activity here. On our Twitter, we shared an address that made an awful lot of money on pork. I have no idea where that came from, Journey.
Polly's scout. I faded this one. I was like, no way, this is going anywhere. But yeah.
But it did. It's done incredibly well.
Never fade.
We can look into that later. But as you can see over the last 7 days, it's not done as well. But it's made a lot of addresses a lot of money. But yeah, and if you can hover over these tokens just to kind of see if there's anything exciting here. If there is no analytics or graph that you see here, it's likely to be a much newer token. And I know defrogs is something that you're interested in, Journey, as well. And that touches on that ERC 404 narrative, I think.
Yeah.
And so when we go down here as well, tokens traded. Journey, do you want to run us through this and how you would use tokens traded?
Yeah, sure. We can just, since you're sharing your screen, again, just the filter all sectors.
Yep.
Yeah, if you go, all sectors. And then what I like is usually, check out the new tokens or the low caps or even micro caps. So this is literally where, the tokens were created in just the last 30 days, I believe, where all the smart money are aping into. So if you're a little bit more degen like myself, I think this is where you really discover all these new projects. So yeah, most of them are tokens, but I think you can also see there are some new ERC for sort of like NFT and token hybrid projects here, which we can dive into a little bit more in detail later.
Yeah, I think that's something that's kind of caught your attention a lot at the moment. I've seen that you've been tweeting a lot about the ERC 404s.
Yes. NFT season back.
So what ERC 404s kind of caught your attention? Is there something that you kind of explain to our viewers what ERC 404s are? And then we can kind of maybe look at one or two of them.
Yeah, totally. So personally, I really think ERC 404 kind of reminds me of, the quantum state of the Schrodinger's cat. It's neither alive or dead, or it could be alive or dead. So basically it could be either a non-fungible token, which is like what we know as NFTs, ERC 721, but also it could be a fungible token, right? Like all your meme coins, right? Your ERC 20s. So personally, I think the most like easy and straightforward way to understand is that you can trade and buy these ERC 404s on a DEX or on an NFT marketplaces. This wasn't possible before. Like there are other sort of like similar projects try to explore this, to sort of like bring what you call it, like to fractionalize NFTs, to bring liquidity in with like different approach. Some of them wrap the NFTs, right? And then some of them will sort of like have basically you lock it up and then you trade as a token. But I think with like this native sort of like a built-in feature in ERC 404, it really solves a lot of the problem with like what people say illiquid JPEGs. So now we made JPEGs liquid. You have your meme coins with cute pictures. Why not? It's just a lot of fun. Like I find, of course, I think on a serious note, there will be a lot of other utilities or functions that people can explore. Especially I think in games, that's probably the most obvious sort of use case. But yeah, I'm just super excited. I think a lot of people sort of, also saw the potential, right? That's why the price is just insane. Like, I think it's how people react to just new development in the space. Maybe people just, like been waiting to, to throw their money into something. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the first one I think is talking about is like Pandora, and that seems to be the one that I've seen everywhere on social media. A lot of people are talking about it. It seems to have been very beneficial, like profitable for a lot of people who've been very early. I know
Generational wealth.
Generational wealth.
Yeah.
we're getting airdrops, we're getting our responsibility coming in. A lot of people are now having it on chain again. So 2023 was a bit sad. This year it's getting quite exciting, and we're already seeing some interesting trends. So could you walk us through Pandora?
Yeah, totally. So can you see my screen?
You can see your screen.
Here. Okay, perfect. So this is actually Nansen 2. We do have the NFT Paradise migrated to Nansen 2. But personally, I think a lot of like the details, right? For example, I like to check the main master to see what is the most like popular trending collections. You can do so in Nansen 1. Let me share this tab instead. Yeah, so for instance, shall we just look at, what? Yeah, let's just go back to the NFT Paradise market overview for a second. I also shared a tweet earlier today that, all these top 5, right? Like Mutant Ape is number 6 now in terms of trading volume in the last 24 hours. And this is insane. But of course, the volume that we see here actually includes both NFT, even though this is NFT market. So includes both NFT volume. For example, those trading that you see on OpenSea and then Blur. You know what? I think Blur has only supported Pandora, but not a few other collections. So that's the signal of how early we are, right? And so, yeah, a lot of this volume are also on DEX trades. So people can simply buy and sell, right, on Uniswap, Kyber, and other sort of like 1inch, whatever. So I think, yeah, it's just absolutely ripping. And rock as well. Yeah, of course, a lot of this new, if you see a 404, they're trying to, write the narrative, right, the new meta. But I think what really got me interested in Pandora first was, so now let's look into the NFT God mode of Pandora. So these are all the sort of like essential numbers that you can see, right? Floor price, volume, right? You can see it's absolutely just up only. And then all the live trades and the price and transaction. I mean, I haven't seen a chart like this on like NFT, collections for a very, very long time. And You know what I mean? Like you just see like very sparse, like buys and sells here and there. But okay, so top balances. Okay, very interesting. So Darren and I, so Darren is our smart money, attributions, gigabrain. So Darren and I are speculating that these three could be the project team's addresses. So actually Pandora has already, disclosed their treasury wallet publicly. Basically they're, funding the liquidity pool and everything. But we are just like, suspecting because just see how early these addresses, right, got their Pandora NFTs. So basically, again, like Pandora, if you buy a full, like whole token, then it's, it becomes an NFT essentially. Like you can trade it in a whole token. Otherwise, if it's not whole, it's just like any other ERC20 tokens, right? You can sell it in fraction. So on this dashboard, we can actually see these are the whole tokens that these three addresses currently holding. And just by looking at how early they got it, this is literally when the project just dropped. And they actually haven't really sold that much, only a little bit. So I think Panda.eth sold like 50 last night, and then apparently they bought another 36 back. So this is just speculation. I don't know whether if they really belong to the project team or not, but if they do, I think it's good to also monitor their movement. And another thing that caught my attention and the reason why I sort of like ate into the project myself as soon as I found out was because you look at the description of these addresses, right? So at Nansen, what we do is we label addresses. So it's not just like the entity in the sense that we know who you are, like maybe your project name, right? Are you exchange or are you someone like famous on CT, things like that. But we also label you based on your behavior. So this is very clear to me that a lot of the early, early buyers, they are actually, bot traders, right? Banana Gun, right? Maestro bot users. And they're just DEX traders or LP. They're more of like the token, like traders, but not so much like on the NFT side. So I think I was telling you maybe, like looking at the price, when you see there's a token that just like released a day or two ago and then now it's like a few $1,000s, you would think this is ridiculous, right? But if you are looking at it as an NFT, right, like for an NFT price to shoot up to a few ETH in like a few days, this is very common. So for me, I'm like, okay, this is very interesting, right? This is like a token, the new experiment token standard that combines both NFT and tokens. And we see that the early adopters are actually just like your meme coin traders, your DEX traders, like people who just like snipe a new token release early, get your profit and then out. But for me, I feel like there is still a lot of potential for those like people who are actually interested in NFT as well to get in. So yeah, I mean, that's my suspicion, right? So
I also saw that you shared a really interesting tip on Twitter as well about smart money entering into Pandora. Would you be able to share that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is what I like about I would say the Nansen one filter. I don't know whether we should also ask a product team to add this in Nansen 2. By the way, we are also migrating NFT dashboards to Nansen 2. So that's super exciting, especially now we have, like the new hybrid token standard. So what I do is I will input this nerd emoji, right, which means, smart money in Nansen dashboard, and then click filter, right? So what you can see here is that all the addresses that are labeled as smart money. And then if you hover over again, you can see what kind of smart money they are. Again, you see these are not really, okay, this guy have like blue chip NFT, so cool. So this is both, like an LP staker and NFT smart money, which is quite rare, right? Like you're good at different things. And this is interesting. Of course, it's a fund and then private sale investor. So yeah, like to me, I think look at why these people are smart. gives you a good idea on, sort of like the personality, the profiles of people that sort of like buy into this new project or collection, or whatever you call it, like Nate Alex, a legend himself. He also has a NFT collection called Chain Faces. So yeah, this is very useful. So you can easily filter this table and just look at what is smart money. And then of course, if there's anyone that caught your attention, you can just save it to watch list, or even set a smart alert to see what other potentially new ERC404 collections that they are aping into.
And another thing to pick up on as well is that first in column as well at the very end. And you can, by sourcing through that, you can find some really interesting smart money addresses to see who first came into this. Are they still holding? Are they still active? And then from there, you can find some really interesting addresses there that you can monitor with smart alerts and just kind of ape with them if that's something that you want to do, or just follow their transactions, or just to see how interesting that address is. You can just keep an eye on, because as you say, you see some of those addresses there that they were in very early and they're still holding. And as the token price has gone through the roof, it's just something that's
exactly.
Like, there's something that there might be something there, and they could be trading narratives. They might have an insight. Who knows? So it's one of those things you could just do just to get a little bit more of an edge in the market that you can get elsewhere.
100%.
So we've got a question, Jeremy, as well from one of our viewers. Just while you're doing something. KingFad asks, will Nansen offer on-chain info on Solana? As our product marketing manager, I think you'll probably be best to answer
that. Yes, in Nansen 1, actually you can use this drop-down menu, and you can go to Solana. But of course, in terms of the data coverage and like wallet labeling, it's not as comprehensive as what we have for like Ethereum and other EVM chains. But still, you can sort of like enter a Solana wallet address, right? And then we also have the NFT paradise. I believe we are one of the first that actually covers Solana NFT as well. And token Gamo. So I guess this is a pretty good start, to be honest. Like wallet and analyzing wallet, analyzing NFT. I also see there are a lot of sort of hybrid. I think it's called SPL22 standard for Solana. I'm not super familiar, but also they're exploring the hybrid model. So I think that's something that I don't know why it's still loading. Could be me, could be our dashboard, could be Solana. It's the Solana chain. Yeah,
when you go back to Nansen 1, you realize that the changes in Nansen 2 are very significant, especially when it comes to like speed, loading everything up. It's a huge game changer. So looking forward to having all this into Nansen 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so is there anything else that you want to cover with Pandora, or shall we move on to the next feature?
Maybe not Pandora, but I would like to maybe highlight this feature that personally I really like, since we are still talking about. Yes, I can't stop talking about ERC404s. But yeah, this is something that I personally used to sort of like find potential new opportunities. Basically, it's this min master. Again, you can just see when was this collection first minted. I see it for loot. Yeah, I know. Loot is like giving me like PTSDs when I was talking to Darren as well. The loot collection, right? Which also shot up to like 10 ETH in a week. And then like there's so many derivatives came out after that. And then like really nothing much really came out from that collection itself. But I think, people are just, again, maybe walking down the memory lane or whatever. So who knows? Yeah. So the FOMO level is interesting. So you can actually see what the FOMO level means. Basically, it's just how many mints are happening in every 15 minutes, right? So if it's like over 75, it's considered a high FOMO level. And then if it's above 200, then it's extreme. And another thing to note is that for the ERC404 collections, basically when you are sort of selling a hold token or more than multiple hold tokens, it actually burns the NFT. So basically, when you are buying or selling, you are essentially burning and reminting the NFTs. So the numbers here could be, a little bit more than what traditional NFTs mean. And also, you can see there's some so-called old collections. How come they're still minting? It's basically because people are selling it, and then sort of like reminting it again. So this is also good to monitor both new collections and old collections that people are still interested in, and just actively trading.
Yeah, fantastic. And yeah, I think this is just an interesting way to kind of explain how you've got these new features, and from there, how you can leverage different parts of Nansen to understand the narrative, how you can make the most out of on-chain data, how you can spot new movements, how you can track addresses. So we've gone from finding a narrative, the ERC 404 narrative, noticing smart money buying into it. We noticed smart money being really interested by this. And then from there, diving in a bit further into the narrative, and then finding out using different features like the Mint Master to see, is there anything else going to come up? Is there something that you're going to get there early in? And how we can help you with that. I think another thing is like hot contracts, which is really good for that, but we can touch on that later because we've got an interesting update coming to that and a few other features later.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm quite excited. I'm very excited about those actually. We've got some new features coming through that I think will be a game changer for like interesting on-chain insights that will kind of get delivered to you in real time. But more on that a bit later. I'll go through a few questions before we look into the next thing, and space support, which is quite interesting. So the first question is, can you explain unlimited customizable features for the ultimate Nansen experience? So how can you customize Nansen to work for you journey?
Oh, that's a great question. So in terms of customizable features, I think the most obvious one is, of course, like my dashboard. So basically, when you are using Nansen, for example, and you see this little star icon, what you can do is you can simply click, and then you can add it to my dashboard. And so I think you're referring to the professional plan here. So you can basically paint as many widgets that you want to your personal dashboard. And then another thing that you could do, I think a lot of our users really love, is smart segments. So this is a test account, so I don't really have a lot of smart segments created here. But again, what you can do with smart segments is that you can actually sort of like surface multiple addresses that share the common condition, right? Basically, maybe they all hold this token and then with a minimum amount, or NFTs, or they have traded these NFTs with, like certain percentage or gains. And we're also adding this to this, I think, new. Again, I'm using a sort of a QA account here, so it may not be released just yet. But I think these two are very, very exciting because a lot of people just want to know, like, okay, we see all these exciting projects in the market, and who are the ones that really got in very early and very smart at maybe investing and trading. So with this new, for example, first holders by token, it's very easy for you to just type in the token name or put in a smart contract of the token, and then find out who are the first maybe 50 or 100 addresses, and then maybe you add another condition of another project or token that you're interested in, and then find the first holders of that project as well. So this is a very, very, I would say, effective and smart way to surface the wallet addresses that you would like to monitor and maybe learn their trading strategies from.
And from there
so
as well,
we covered, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, as well, you
Yes.
can do some really interesting things with segments, like filtering through that when you're looking at tokens and stuff to see what your own specific segment can do. There's also things
Yeah.
where you can add your own filters and really customize what you're trying to find. The in-depth labeling, being able to add things to your watch list. There's so many different like small little things you can do from here that allows you to have that customized experience that I don't think other tools have. And by
Yeah.
doing that, you can really kind of curate Nansen to work best for you.
Totally. And also for watch list. So again, you can, add as many, wallet addresses, tokens, or NFTs to your watch list. And of course, also smart alerts. You can set as many smart alerts as you want. Again, I think sometimes if you set up too many, you might be getting spammed by all these on-chain actions. So sometimes it's not, the more the merrier. You just need to sort of, adjust the thresholds, adjust sort of what kind of signals, right, that you actually receive from these alerts or these addresses that you have been following.
And then a second question, Journey, is outside of Ethereum, which EVM chain or layer 2 has the most smart money label wallets?
That's such a good question. Off the top of my head, I wish Darren's here, but I think it's Arbitrum. Yeah. So basically, okay, our theory is, of course, Ethereum is kind of like where everything started, right? And with the L2s, we'll assume that if you're smart on Ethereum and you're still active, especially if you breach earlier to other chains, chances are you're early and you also know what you're looking at, what you're doing. So we'll assume those are smart, but the label itself will actually tell you whether you're smart on this chain or not. Let me see if this is a good example. I actually just want to share this address because I think it's really it's been very active and smart recently. So this is not exactly the best example, but you can definitely see, like, for example, on Arbitrum, we also have some alpha labels. You know what? Let me share this instead. Here. Can you see my screen? I think
I see the screen.
Perfect. Okay, so I can also drop this link here. If I post in the comments, can they see?
They should be able to see it. And so, so this document here is everything about our wallet labels written by Martin, who's also in the marketing team and was on office hours the other week. And that kind of covers everything related to our labels. And when it comes to smart money, Jenny, do you want to run through that?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, like, I think people know that Nansen is kind of like famous for, its smart money. But to be honest, like, everyone is smart differently, right? So what I really like is we sort of like segment based on what they do best. So you can see there are also like sort of LPs. There's people who know how to stake, funds. They have size. They have maybe insider information and things like that. And of course, you also have DEX traders who are either maybe all time, in terms of profit, or they are just very active in the short term and they make the most out of all the new, releases, launches, and things like that. Also NFT traders, minters, early adopters. So yeah, this is a very comprehensive list to go through. And then, of course, for the reason why I say we have on Arbitrum is because we actually have some unique Arbitrum addresses. Let me see.
And so while you're trying to find that, one thing that's really interesting about smart money labels as well, especially when it comes to DEX traders. And so when we were talking earlier about narratives, the ERC 404 narrative, what you can kind of do is look at smart money DEX traders, especially the early 7-day, 30-day traders. And these are often traders that have made a lot of money within that period, and they're the top of the cream of the crop effectively on Ethereum. So if you're seeing a narrative form and you see a lot of these 7-day trade, 7 or 30-day smart money traders, these could be addresses that you add to your watch list or add smart alerts for, just to kind of nail that narrative, see what else they're doing, maybe what they rotate into next. Sometimes they refresh addresses, so it can be quite hard to monitor. But they're a good place to kind of just look into and just kind of figure out, okay, they're looking into this, maybe it's something to put your attention into.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, they could have just got lucky.
Exactly. To be honest, I feel like sometimes it's timing, right? Like if you're sleeping, then too bad. It just went up, and then you're like, oh, am I too late? And but again, like, is it a one-hit wonder? We definitely don't want to just like monitor wallets that are maybe just one-hit wonders. We want to sort of learn from people who just have very consistent, win rates. And also we filter out MUV bots. Because personally, sometimes I will watch those banana gun bot traders because they are just so good at it. But if I don't know how to use those bots, so it's not really useful for me. But it's just super interesting to the fact that we can actually look at what people do in real time and sort of understand their logic. It's just this is only in crypto. And just go back a little bit on Arbitrum. So we have some very specific Arbitrum addresses here. I believe we also label those like early sort of like bridges, right, to different chains, Base, for example. And I think that's a good place to take a look as well.
Yeah, I think on the bot aspect as well, that's also a really good, interesting insight that you provide there, Journey, because there's an address that I've been tracking for a very long time now. I did this fun thing on Twitter just to explore like really degenerate like accounts that and just like tracking stuff they're doing. And there's this one consistent trader, I think he's using Maestro, and it's just consistently going in, making trades. And I was like, I don't know how they're doing it, because I did the fun challenge a few months back now. I don't know if you remember. And then
is it Jared from Subway?
And then just boom, 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 boom. It's not Jared this time, but whenever you see Jared Subway in, that's it. That's the top. Really, no one knows. It's like it's a painful
I know. One. I mean, they just snipe the token out whenever the pool is created. Like, you have to be a bot to do that.
Yeah. I'm aware that we're already pretty much end time. We're going to look at a bunch of different things. The one thing we're going to focus on as well is Degen, which is on Base, but we won't go into it just right now because there's quite a lot from there. But we do support other chains with token God mode, Base being a very new one. So that's something that I think is really interesting to share. So I just kind of want to highlight that quickly. So as you can see from my screen right now, you can look at tokens from different blockchains, and if you ever want to look at a token, you can go here. Degen's only on Base. With other tokens, you can just go here, and there's a drop down menu. You can see what chains it's on, and then you can use your research from there. An interesting thing here, we still have smart money, and MEV collector here is a really interesting address.
Generational wealth, from Map Collector.
Yeah, they use Nansen. They wrote a really interesting thread. How long ago was that now?
He's a friend of Nansen's.
Yeah, so it's just interesting to see some of these people come in. Cooper Trooper as well, someone I've noticed.
Yes.
Pranksy. So it's just something I wanted to touch on as we're running over time. But we do support other networks as well, Token God mode, as well as smart money. You can see what's going on, especially with like new trending things. Degen was given to people who have been using Firecaster, and that's something that's kind of taken the crypto world by storm almost, because it's doing incredibly well. If we go here, we can see it's just gone up only. So that's really interesting. There's an address that I've been following, and I've been following their Twitter account as well, and they've I kept seeing it. I'm up 10x, I'm up 20x, I'm up 30x. I keep thinking, oh no, I'm going to be late to this, and it is up something like 100x at this point, and I'm like, that's a bit painful. just to see in real time going up. But I just wanted to flag that you really have Base on Token God mode.
Yeah, 100%. To be honest, like in crypto, in blockchain, like we have so many chains and we have so many like different like verticals and segments that people are interested in. To me, like you can't catch them all. Like sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. So all good. I think there are a lot of opportunities, and and if not, just move on to the next one. Catch them all.
You either win or you learn. You don't lose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Yeah, we learn and cope.
So as we are running over time, Journey, we're releasing some really interesting updates soon, and they're to do with smart alerts. I'm sharing your screen at the moment. Would you like to kind of go through one or two of them and kind of explain what the changes are to smart alerts? I've had a few people message me about wanting smart alerts for certain features, and we're pleased that we will be creating updates for that soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you seeing my screen? Okay,
I see
cool.
your screen.
So yeah, smart alerts. I believe these two are not released yet. So this is alpha leaks. So a lot of people love our new signals feature. I think Edward, you've done an amazing job, like sharing all the signals, like how people use signals to sort of like either long, short, or discover like basically very unusual and significant on-chain movements. So people love signals, but at the same time, I think a lot of them want to sort of like receive notification as it happen, right? Instead of like staring at the screen every day and scroll down. So we are going to release signal alerts. So basically two types, right? Right now you have like all the token flows, smart money token flows, balance change, and then you can also have another one is the NFT signals. So it comes in at a good time, I believe, right? Again, with ERC 404. So really looking forward to testing this out myself. And another one that I think is a really, really good sort of feature and uniquely Nansen is the hot contracts, right? So, there are a lot of like sort of smart alerts that you can set up. But I think what Nansen does really, really well is that we actually aggregate, like different sort of various addresses that are doing certain things, or like multiple tokens that meet certain, criteria or threshold. So for example, these hot contract alerts. And I think originally hot contract is only a feature that's available for, the, I forgot the tier name. I
The
think it's
professional tier,
alpha.
yeah. I think
Okay,
it's alpha,
professional tier, the alpha tier.
professional. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I
now
was
I'm known
saying,
as
yeah.
now I'm known as professional tier. So only professional tier has access to the hot contract dashboard. And what hot contract does is that it actually allows you to sort of like find out what are the new, liquidity pool, what are the new staking pools, or even what are the new tokens, right? People are aping into. Again, just looking at all these fields here, you can tell that, okay, maybe I just want to look at, the really, really like new ones, maybe 7 days or even 3 days, right? And then within the last hour, maybe like 100,000, dollars has been deposited into this, or buying this, whatever token or NFTs. And then I can set a minimum number of depositors as well. So I can receive alerts on, what's happening, again, what's hot in the space. As it happens in real time. So personally, I think this is a great feature. Like even if you don't have a professional subscription, you can actually use this to discover some of the new opportunities.
And I think I really like hot contracts. They've served me quite well in the past. I remember the parallel avatars. I just popped open Nansen, saw this NFT collection minting. I was like, okay, check to see where it was. It was an open sea, and I got in just at the very last moment, and that did very well.
Amazing.
I sold early. We should probably add a dumb money label. And all my wallets would be dumb money.
Win to win, yeah. Oh, I just saw Conan Spartus. Yeah, it's co-VIP. Amazing. You must be a true Nansen fan.
Yeah, so I found that to be quite interesting, and being able to see these things. I've always said we should have like a dumb money label as like a counter signal. That could be quite interesting to have in the future.
I
Smart money
know,
does
yeah.
really interesting things. Dumb money does not so interesting things.
Again, it's useful signal as well. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, it's very memeable.
And we can quickly go through. Shall we go through a hot contract quickly? Yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to share my screen quickly. And so this is what hot contracts looks like. This hasn't been moved over to Nansen 2 just yet. But as you can see, you can set contract age and stuff like that. If you're really degenerate, you can do something like 1 day, and you can spot anything that's interesting. So inflow over the last 24 hours. Is there anything interesting here? Some of these addresses here that are unlabeled tend to be new tokens, or you can find things that maybe have some interest here. Interestingly, here on the smart money side of things, so these are new contracts, and there's 3 smart money addresses in here. Always look at the inflow and outflow and stuff from there, but you can just see some interesting things going on here. So if you're a degenerate, then this is something that could be quite appealing. If you're not as risky, like you take the risk, days. And you can see some interesting things here. So Sega staking, this is interesting. So on our Twitter account, I recently posted something about Sega. And the high-level story of this is that Pandora Capital have recently been putting a lot of money into Sega. They're an investor in the product, but they recently did that with a different project that they were invested in. I can't remember the name off the top of my head now, but they were on ZK Sync, and shortly after their deposits, there was an airdrop. So that was something to look into. I can't remember the name of the top project now, but I remember someone on our team doing quite well on that. So it's just something to look into. And you can just find interesting things here, see what's going on. Pepe is one of those tokens that I saw some smart money buying the other day, etc. And then going back to what you were saying, Journey, about some of the other things that we can do with smart alerts. You can set up your own whale alerts now with like exchange flows, if playing God mode. So if you want to kind of catch the movements, or if you're worried about, let's say, the staking, like anything just like stablecoin related, set up big stablecoin flows. So there's some really interesting things going on there, and we're pushing an awful lot out there. As we're over time, is there anything you want to touch on, Journey, before we end for the day?
I think we're good for now. Probably there are a lot of things that we have missed, but yeah.
We also have the product marketing newsletter. Do you want to tell everyone about that quickly?
Oh, yes. So we will actually have like a newsletter that you can subscribe to. Then we can sort of like show you the workflow that we find, could be most useful to you. Also, we will have like a monthly and quarterly product updates. And actually, for those, if you haven't seen our, I would say, support and Nansen, this one.
Share your screen there.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at. Yes. So I'm the one who's writing all these articles. So yeah, do remember to check it out. It's in support.nansen.ai. And basically, whenever we have new releases, right, you can check out how to use it, and then like all the links are here. And of course, if you have any questions or suggestions, remember to reach out to us.
Yeah, fantastic. I think it's good to plug your work. You help me out an awful lot with social media content, helping me find interesting stuff going on. And if you want to know anything about the product, go to Journey. So that was episode 104 of Office Hours. If there's anything that you want us to cover next, please let us know. Thank you, Journey, for appearing. Have you got any last words? I'll put the pressure on you. I'll let you do the final words.
I want to wish everyone who celebrates Lunar New Year a wonderful and prosperous long year. It's like the dragon year. And yeah, and those who don't celebrate Lunar New Year, have a wonderful weekend ahead.
And go to app.nansen.ai to use.
Oh, yes. Yes. Of course. Yes. That's a call to action always.
All right. Thank you very much for viewing, everyone, and have a lovely weekend.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Yeah. See you.